Hello once again, my fellow Whovians. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my white room. Now, this is a video talking about Matt Smith's era as the 11th Doctor. There will be spoilers in this from his whole time as the Doctor, from the 11th hour to the time of the Doctor. So, just know that, keep that in mind. So if you are not fully caught up with Matt Smith's time as the Doctor, do not watch this because there will be spoilers unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case, watch it. When Matt Smith came in as the Doctor, he was coming off of the coattails of David Tennant, who was one of the most popular doctors in the history of the show. David Tennant had a huge emotional impact on the show, and his leaving of the show in the way that they did it in The End of Time Part 2 was very emotional, very exciting. And then Matt Smith entered, and he was all energetic and witty and very young. He's the youngest Doctor that they've ever had. I would argue probably one of the best, because while in season 5 of Doctor Who, which was Matt Smith's first season as the Doctor, he had some trouble kind of resonating with me, and probably a lot of other people too, because he was a very different Doctor than Eccleston or Tennant, because he was, like I said, young. He was very very odd. He was a big bow tie person, and he had a very different demeanor about him, and it was very difficult to transfer from David Tennant to Matt Smith being the Doctor in fans' heads. Once Series 6 kind of happened, he got a little bit more serious. The story got to be kind of a little bit darker, because it started out with the Doctor dying right in the first episode, which I think threw a lot of people for a loop. The whole 6th season revolved around that, the idea of stopping the Doctor's death and figuring out a way around that. That's where it started to kind of get at me with A Good Man Goes to War, that episode, which was the mid-season finale of Series 6. We see the Doctor through the eyes of many individuals. He started out as this man who just wanted to explore worlds and not really interfere, and he's become this warrior, this symbol of fighting, and the word doctor is changing from a person in a medical field who heals people to a warrior and a fighter. So that was a really interesting thing that they addressed. I don't remember exactly where. I think it was in Series 5. But it's more emphasized in that episode. One thing which kind of still confuses me is the fact that when Matt Smith got shot, he was regenerating, because we saw the yellow regeneration energy starting to pour out of him. He was beginning his regeneration cycle, and then he gets shot and he gets killed. If he's the 13th Doctor, how could he be regenerating? That's one thing that wasn't really explained in the time of the Doctor, or anything that I've seen, at least. So if you know, comment below and explain that to me, because that'd be really helpful. And then we progress into Season 7, and the first half of Season 7 deals with Amy and Rory's departure, and then the second half deals with Clara and the Impossible Girl, and then leading into the 50th anniversary, and then Matt Smith's leave of the show. Really quick with the companions, Amelia Pond, she was actually a really good companion. The first few episodes, as with all companions, there's a little touch and go, because they don't know what they're doing at this point. They're very naive about a lot of things. They don't know how this whole system works. By probably halfway through Season 5, she was pretty good. She was established as a character. She was an attractive character, which helped, and she kind of held her own throughout the whole of the rest of the show. Rory Williams was kind of comic relief of the show. He, at least at first, he was the guy who was very confused and scared of a lot of stuff that was happening, and he died like twice, I think. And he ended up being a very good character as well. He was Amy Pond's fiance, and eventually they get married, and so is her husband. It created a very interesting dynamic. We have Amy and then her boys, the Doctor and Rory, and it was just kind of a trio that the audience grew favorable of, and they got used to. And so in Season 7, when they left, that was very difficult for a lot of people. We had the Christmas special, which dealt with the introduction of Clara as the main companion, and then we see Clara Oswald, who is the Doctor's companion for just a few episodes, half a season, the 50th anniversary, and the Christmas special. And then, but she does a fairly good job. Like with All Companions, she starts off a little touch and go, but by I think the third or fourth episode, she knows what she's doing. She's confident. She's giving orders. She's commanding people. She knows how to deal with these creatures, which in reality isn't really realistic. You're not going to know how to deal with all these creatures right from the get-go, but I mean, it's a show. So they could be having many adventures that we don't see off screen where she's dealt with all these types of things. Or she just has a manual that the doctor gave her, which explains how to deal with all these creatures. And then lastly, River Song, who is played brilliantly. She was introduced in the Silence in the Library episode with David Tennant. And I really like that they were able to set up her character, and we see where she ends up and where she dies in David Tennant's series. So we know where she's going throughout all of Matt Smith's episodes. And we don't actually see her go to the library, but she is here and there throughout the show. She plays a very significant role, especially at the end of Series 6. And she's just a very interesting character. We got to see her origins, being originally made to be used as a weapon against the Doctor when she ends up marrying him and being his most loyal companion. She's a very good character, and I think that they said she might be in a few episodes with Capaldi, which would be interesting because she's used to seeing Matt Smith on the face of the Doctor. So Capaldi and her might have some interesting interactions. With the last 3 episodes of Matt Smith's era, we have kind of a correlation with the names of the episodes. We have the name of the Doctor, the day of the Doctor, and the time of the Doctor. So it kind of set up something of a trilogy for Matt Smith's going out. This is kind of his farewell trilogy. And it sets up this overarching plot of Trenzalore, because he goes to Trenzalore after his death and the fall of the 11th, where we see the TARDIS as a monstrous giant, and then we see the scar tissue of his time in the universe just resonating inside of it, and it's where he's buried. And we have the great intelligence who wants to get at that. Obviously, the name of the Doctor has a huge relevance to the show, because it's always like Doctor Who, and that's the main question in the universe, which has a huge impact in the time of the Doctor. In the 50th anniversary, which I already did a video on, it doesn't completely emphasize Trenzalore. Matt Smith touches on it when he talks to David Tennant towards the end, but besides that, we don't really deal with it. We see stuff from the name of the Doctor show up, but we don't see anything on Trenzalore, and then Time of the Doctor deals exclusively with Trenzalore. Yeah, after a point, Matt Smith did for sure become the Doctor in my head, and he seemed to very much mature as an actor and in his facial expressions and just how he looked. Just seeing footage from his Series 5 entrance to the Time of the Doctor in Series 7, even parts of 6, he looks like a completely different person sometimes, because he looks very young in Series 5, while in this one, which is like 4 years later, he looks a lot older, which is really, really interesting. And I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he's definitely grown as an actor, and is definitely a guy that I'll be looking out for in the future. Matt Smith, if for some reason you end up watching this at some point, very nice job, sir. I applaud you. And I look forward to Peter Capaldi and seeing what he has to offer. A lot of people are hating on him, but I choose to withhold judgment until I see him in action, because I think that he could be brilliant. That is my review of Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. I thought he did great. I thought Moffat did a pretty good job for the most part, introducing this character and establishing him and making him his own. Let me know your thoughts on Matt Smith's reign as the Doctor. Let me know your thoughts on any of the episodes that he did, and where you think the show will be headed. Obviously, they're going to be searching for Gallifrey. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. As always, my people, my name is Nick Pell, and for the last time, Geronimo.